Hi, I'm Alex, and today we're identifying the Swarmkeeper Ranger from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. So, to jump right into it, starting at 3rd level, you get Gathered Swarm, which really establishes the identity of the Swarmkeeper. As part of Gathered Swarm, a swarm of intangible nature spirits has bonded to you and occupies the same space as you until you die. So the easy thing to think about is insects when you look at this ability, but you can absolutely flavor it as anything you see fit. You can see it as pixies, miniature twig spirits, or really anything else. There is actually a note from Wizards of the Coast about this specifically. Feel free to flavor your spells and flavor what your swarm looks like so it opens up the possibilities of this subclass. Some things that come to mind when I think about this Gathered Swarm ability is Shino from Naruto with all his bugs, or Hero from Big Hero 6 with the nanobots. You can flavor your swarm in any way that you see fit. In fact, when I played the Swarmkeeper when it was still Unearthed Arcana, I flavored my swarm as my character manipulating gravity. We'll see some of the benefits in just a second here, but it really added to the flavor as I was able to move myself and push others and deal extra damage as the gravity weighed down on my enemies, or I was able to use the gravity to my advantage. There is really any way that you can think of to flavor this swarm. It doesn't have to be just nasty bugs or roaming pixies around you. So to get to the mechanical advantage of this feature, once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack, you can choose the swarm to help you out in one of 3 ways. Either the attack's target takes an additional 1d6 piercing damage from your swarm, or they must succeed a strength saving throw against your spell save DC or be pushed 15 feet horizontally, or finally you can move yourself up to 5 feet. Boy, do I really like these abilities. The extra damage is something that is reliable and you can always default to, but the ability to move yourself or push another is really great. Something to note about these movement abilities that the Swarm has is that they don't provoke attacks of opportunity. So if you push that enemy, unfortunately, even if you're within 5 feet of it, you will not be able to use your attack of opportunity because this is not willing movement. But additionally, and to your benefit, if you use it to move yourself 5 feet, it also does not provoke. So this is a reliable way to get outside of an enemy's range without provoking an attack of opportunity. And all in all, being able to reposition yourself and enemies in combat is really powerful, especially since this is 15 feet of movement when you're pushing them horizontally. You could push them off a bridge or pull them towards you or your very strong barbarian friend. This, in addition to being mechanically powerful, is also flavorfully sound. This swarm helping you in various ways in combat in ways that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do yourself is exactly what the Swarmkeeper wants to do. However, it doesn't stop there. Also, at 3rd level, you get Swarmkeeper Magic. You learn the Mage Hand cantrip if you don't know it already, and when you cast that cantrip, it takes the form of your swarm. You also add a number of spells to your ranger spell list that don't count against your ranger spells known. These spells include Fairy Fire, Web, Arcane Eye, Gaseous Form, and Insect Plague. Fairy Fire and Web work wonderfully with your Swarmkeeper abilities. Because these are AoE spells, you can move enemies into areas to better use these spells. So if you were to say cast Web and you were only able to get 1 or 2 guys, or if maybe they even succeeded on their saving throws and they were able to get out of it, hitting them with your ranged attack or even your melee, depending on which weapons you're using, you're able to push them back into the web, which sounds so fun. While Arcane Eye and Gaseous Form are there to add further utility to your already limited ranger's spell list, you also have Insect Plague, which was basically a must-have for this subclass, and it's reasonably powerful in combat as well. At 7th level, you get the Writhing Tide feature, which means that your swarm can pick you up and carry you around. And as a bonus action, you can get a flying speed of 10 feet with which you can hover, gain the speed for 1 minute, and you can do so a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus per long rest. I think flying speeds are very powerful in 5e, but I am also seeing a trend where more and more subclasses are gaining access to it, and at 7th level, having a 10-foot fly speed is actually pretty slow. While being able to fly is useful and out of combat, that 10-foot speed isn't going to really bother you too much when you have to cross a cavern or get on top of a building. In combat, you're going to feel very, very slow, moving only 10 feet of movement per move action. I wouldn't say that this ability isn't powerful, but I wish it was a little bit more for the level it comes at. At 11th level, you get Mighty Swarm, which improves on your previously granted Gathered Swarm features. It improves on those features in the following way. First, your Gathered Swarm damage is increased to 1d6. Furthermore, if a creature fails its saving throw to be moved by your Gathered Swarm, you can also have the Gathered Swarm knock it prone. In addition to this, if you move yourself with your Gathered Swarm, you also gain half cover until next turn. Now, I really like that this ability symbolizes the growth and strength of your swarm progressing over time, though I do wish it was a little bit more powerful in some areas. For example, increasing the damage die from 1d6 to 1d8 is only increasing the average by 1 point, which is not that much damage. However, on the other end of that, being able to knock the creature prone while you move it is very powerful because that's going to eat half of their movement. And while having half cover when you move yourself is also very powerful, adding that +2 to AC. Even though I do wish that that damage die was maybe a d10 or even higher, because you're only getting this once per turn, and that would help it be more in line, in my eyes, to the other two options you get with this ability. The last feature you get is at 15th level, and it's called Swarming Dispersal. When you take damage, you can use your reaction to get resistance to that damage. In addition, you can teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space in which you could see. You can do so a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus times per long rest. I really love this ability. It is undeniably strong and it can really help you in a pinch. Being able to get resistance to that damage and potentially get yourself out of danger completely is a very, very powerful ability. I also think that this ability is very thematically cool because you're able to disappear into your swarm and appear somewhere completely different. It symbolizes your growth and becoming more and more one with the swarm and mastering your power with it. I think it is a wonderful 15th level ability for this subclass. So that is it for the Swarmkeeper Ranger. If I were to rank this subclass among the other subclasses available to the Ranger, I would give this one a 5 out of 5 Cauldrons. I think it has a lot of really strong abilities, and it has the added versatility of being able to flavor the swarm however you want to fit a wide variety of characters. In addition, I think the mechanics really support the theming of this class. So all in all, it being powerful and thematically very sound, it's got to get a 5 out of 5 for me. So how do you feel about the Swarmkeeper Ranger? Do you think it's a 5 out of 5 like I said, or would you rank it lower? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. If you're wondering what the other Tasha's subclass is like, the Fey Wanderer, Ben gave his opinions earlier this week, and I can link that video right up above there. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you support what Ben and I are doing here, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Otherwise, I hope to see you on our next short rest.